Gaming's perpetual window into the future, the Deus Ex franchise has long been regarded as one of the most innovative series ever created. We're looking back at the iconic franchise and getting an inside look at what's coming next. I'm Naomi Kyle, and this is DX15. In a dystopian future of 2052, Deus Ex has long been regarded as one of the best PC games of all time, with over 1 million copies sold since its debut. Today we begin our journey with the original founders of Deus Ex. 15 years later, we're sitting down with Chris Norden, Sheldon Picotti, and Warren Spector as they reflect on the genesis of the idea, their influences for the futuristic story, and how the game's success spawned a franchise.
Hey, you look like the vigilante type.
If you'd told me anybody was going to care about any game for 15 years, I would have said you were nuts. The thing that kills me is it's not just that people think about it and talk about it. I get emails from people all the time telling me they're still playing it.
I've talked to some people who said, oh, I play it every year, and just make a point to go back and experience it again just because it was so interesting and different at the time. I think that's amazing. Like, I'm blown away by that.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I have students that say it's one of their favorite games of all time.
I didn't expect it to be the success that it eventually turned out to be, but that didn't matter. Like, we were making the game we wanted to make. We were all super dedicated to doing it the right way and making it tell the story we wanted to tell and present the choice and the stuff that we really focused on to the players.
The artists, the art team, they all seemed to really enjoy the work they were doing. The style was solid, everything was good. The design team meshed well with the art team. We all worked together really well.
I gotta admit, I did think it was going to be kind of a cult classic as opposed to a mega hit, but it was the game I was gonna make somehow, some way, sometime, and nobody was damn well gonna stop me. I didn't care if it sold 3 copies. Well, I started thinking about Deus Ex in 1994, actually, which was 6 years before the game shipped. I was tired of making games or playing games about guys in plate armor with giant swords and you being the last space marine between the Earth and alien invasion. I was about to start another company entirely, and I got a call from John Romero up in Dallas from Lionstorm saying, how would you like to make the game of your dreams with no creative interference? No one will ever tell you anything. And I just, who says no to that opportunity? Deus Ex Machina is a literary criticism term that basically says writer writes him or herself into a corner, that you can't get out of. And so a god descends from the heavens and just says, poof, well, that plot problem is solved. Deus Ex is kind of a statement about how bad game stories are. It was 3 or 4 years before the millennium. And everybody expected Y2K to destroy the world, and I started thinking about what are people thinking about? What do people care about right now? And everywhere I turned, I saw another nutty conspiracy theory.
Give me a chopper and a pilot and I'll handle
it. The starting point for Deus Ex was, what if every conspiracy theory people believe to be true is true? What happens if you take a guy who believes that things are black and white, good and evil, and throw him into a world that's all shades of gray? What's going to happen when we have mechanical augmentation and nano augmentation? What does it mean to be human? And then on top of that, what happens when you throw in AI that actually becomes sentient? And all that stuff, it's actually all come true.
A lot of people ask me, how did you predict all this stuff? It's like, we didn't predict anything. We tried a whole bunch of different stuff and we told a lot of different stories, and some of them just happened. Because in the future, you don't necessarily know how that particular object is going to react. You know what it is today, but maybe in 50 years, computers don't look like computers anymore. So we can kind of reimagine what objects might be and then make them behave the way we want them to behave based on our technical limitations, which was a very nice little cheat.
I think whenever you write fiction, you have to believe in it yourself as an author. And so no matter what the element was, whether it was aliens coming to Earth or the Templars or something, we did enough research to find out what was true about them and put them into the storyline in a way that was believable. So I think that's why some of the technology predictions in particular seem kind of cogent, because it was using terminology of the time that actually was real technology and still holds up together pretty well today.
Lead the way.
The big strength of the game is that we didn't try to contain the player on a track. We just let the player go and attack objectives in whatever order they wanted, and gave the player freedom to explore the story in their own way.
It's not about beating a boss. It's not about just, saving a princess. It's about how do you think the world should be? Not how does the designer want the world to be, not how does the character want the world to be. How do you as a human being playing the game think the world should be?
Some people think it's a right-wing game, some people think it's a left-wing game. And it's because, some people read more of the stuff that was supporting the left-wing in-game than the right-wing in-game. It's all in there.
It's a game you can play over and over and over again and get more story and get a different experience. I think there are a lot of games out there that were influenced by it. We were kind of the first game that mashed up genres in the way that we did. At least one of the first games that really put players in control of the story. And since then, you can rattle off the names of plenty of games that are now doing that, frankly doing it probably better than we did. But it's nice to feel like you made a difference, not just to players, but actually to other developers as well.
It's been a fascinating look at how Deus Ex began, but the journey isn't over yet. In the next chapter of our series, we dive into the making of the sequel, Invisible War.